card here, I decided to try and see if I could do the bokeh effect with just one stamp color for my Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin subscribers, because every month they get an ink spot and a stamp set. Every month it's different in a kit, and it can make everything to make a project. This month's project, this was January's kit, and it made these little treat bags. But you get the ink pad and the stamps that you can use to make other projects. And that's all I used to make this card, except that I added cardstock. So now I decided to try and do the same thing with November's kit, which was called Simply Snowflake, and it made these really cool cards and tags, and it came with this ink spot and this stamp set. That's what I'm going to use for this card. When you order Paper Pumpkin, their very first kit, you get a stamp block, which you need for your stamps too. Okay, I'm going to start with a piece of 3 1/4 by 2 piece of very vanilla cardstock and my piece of sponge. This is a piece of Stampin' Up! Sponge. I actually cut it into 8 pieces, so I get 8 different ones. I'm going to dab it to get some ink on it, and then I'm just going to start doing random circles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some really dark circles first, randomly all over the page, really dark. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly circly, it can be oval or whatever. Really dark ones first. I go on it over and over to make it real dark. Real dark. Okay, then I'm going to not press so hard and get little lighter circles. So just a little lighter here and there. And then I'm going to go again and go even lighter still. Just a tab of color in there. And I'm just going to take it then and just go all over the page. Now I kind of want my circles overlapping a bit more, so I'm going to go back and pick up a little bit more, make this one kind of overlap a little bit, and maybe do another one here. Okay, the effect is not quite as good with one ink pad, but it's not that bad. And one thing I did forget to get ready was the stencils that I use. The stencils that I use were actually in a different Paper Pumpkin kit that I had. They aren't actually stencils. These came with circles that you had to punch out for the project in that kit, but I use it for stencils here. Now what I'm doing with it for this is I'm not actually going to fill in the whole circle. I just want to really accentuate the edges, because I want some circles that have edges. So I'm just going dark around the edge of the circles. Now you see how that looks? Gives it that cool effect. I'm going to do the same thing again. I have to hold both the cardstock and the stencil to make sure it doesn't move. And see, it moved on me. Try and hold it better, because I want to get that edge of the circle real good. Okay, just doing right around the edge. There we go. Oh, maybe I'll do another little one right there. Not the whole circle, just a little bit of it. Okay, and I'm going to do a couple of little ones. And go do a little one right around there. And I'm really just rubbing it around the edge because I want to accentuate the edge, get some circles with distinct lines. Now that one didn't work so well, I got to try that again. Right around the edge. The edge of it to be pretty bright. Yeah, that's better. And I'll do another one here, I think. I think that's pretty good. I think I'm just going to lightly add a little bit more color because there's a little bit too much of the very vanilla showing through for my liking, so I'm just sponging all over with a little bit of lightness. There. Now I'm going to use this Snow Flurry stamp from this kit and my block. Just press the block on it. Use your ink pad, your ink spot to ink up the block, the stamp. And this is going to make a cool, I don't know how nice it'll show up, but we'll see, I guess. Just little, that looks very neat. I'm going to ink it up some more and do it again. I'm just putting it randomly all over the place, no special place. Okay. There, I kind of like that. Now, you can see how cool that ended up being. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 3.5 2 1/4 piece of the same cardstock. I'm going to make a mat for that by inking the edges. Now you can use your ink spot just like this to ink the edges if you like, or you can use your sponge. Sponge it up and use your sponge and you get a more into the page more. And I actually want it into the page a little bit, so I'm going to go all around with that. But I really like how using the ink spot gives you that real sharp edge, so I'm probably going to go all the way around it too with just the ink spot, just to get that extra. So I'm going to go all the way because I'm making this mat to put the other piece that I made on, just to add some dimension. I'm doing this just to show you that if you just get Whisper White or Very Vanilla cardstock to go with your paper pumpkin kits, you can make a whole lot of very cool cards with the stamps and ink spots you get. Okay, now I'm going to take the ink spot and I'm just going to dab all the way around just to give a even more of a border around there. Okay, and this is what it's going to be like. So that just gives you a little mat to put your piece on that you made. You could use a snail. My snail has run out, so I can't use it. I'm going to use a Stampin' Up! Glue stick to glue that in place. Just glue around the edge and glue it on the mat. Press down hard to make sure it's stuck. And you have that cool piece. Now I did forget to go all the way around the edge to make that even darker with this, so I'm going to do that quickly. Okay. Then I have a piece of cardstock that is 6 1/4 by 7 and scored at 3.5. I do this size because I like it because it fits perfectly in a normal letter size envelope. So you don't have to worry about having special envelopes, making your own envelopes to fit the cards you make. You can just make them to fit a normal letter envelope. And I'm going to glue that piece onto that. Like this. I decided to put it a little off center. You can put it wherever you want. Then I'm going to use one of the sentiments on this. It says, wishing you all the hope, wonder, and joy that the season can bring. This is actually a Christmas greeting thing, but it could be just a winter greeting for if you have somebody that enjoys the winter season and all that it brings. So ink that up, and I'm going to place that down in the corner down here. There we go. And as a finishing touch, I'm going to, you could leave it just like that. It's very nice, just like that. I think I'm going to, I'm debating. I kind of like it plain like that. I'm going to ink around the edges just for a different look. Maybe I'll just go with the ink spot, because I'll just do, instead of doing it right in, I'll just do because I kind of like the clean look on this one. So we'll just ink the edges lightly with our ink spot. It just adds a little bit of extra to the card.
Can't really see it though.
And don't forget to do the edge down that fold. Bottom. I went in a little there, but that's no big deal. And there you have it. A very fast and simple card done with a bokeh effect with just one ink color. If you have paper pumpkin kits, you can use your kit to make this cool effect.